Hi, everybody. So I know that this is crazy late. It's like a week late. I am going to go ahead and show you my Maggie Holmes Monday layout, which should have been up last week. I will tell you about that adventure and why I had no videos last week as I continue on here. Just showing you all of the Maggie Holmes products I pulled, and I was really wanting to stamp. And so I chose these 4 fun colors, and we are going to do some stamping with a Concord and Ninth marble turnabout stamp. So while you watch me kind of do this, a couple of tips if you've never used a turnabout stamp. It really only works with a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of paper. You have your little turnabout jig, and then you stick down your stamp and you turn the paper. You don't turn the stamp. So while I go ahead and turn this and create these marble panels, I will tell you, last Monday, after I was finished creating these panels, I set them aside to dry, and I went to do some housework. And over the course of my afternoon, I injured myself quite badly, and I injured my wrist, and I gave myself a lovely puncture wound, which then necessitated a tetanus shot and antibiotics and a very sore hand. My hand and wrist are still quite sore. I can scrapbook, but I have to do it in like small chunks. That being said, I have quite a few videos here ready to go for you. I just made a really stupid mistake. You know those times when you're like, as you're doing something, you think to yourself, I really shouldn't do this? Yeah. So while I was blabbering on here, I have added brown and pink. This is Sandcastle, Pink Champagne, Twilight, and Blackjack. I think right now Blackjack might be the most delicious ink color in the history of ever. It's by Catherine Pooler, and it's this gorgeous dark gray color that it's not black, it's softer, and it's so good. It's such a good color. I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on here. I ended up doing 4 of these panels, and I chose this stamp set because I wanted to pull in some of the other marble patterns that are in Maggie Holmes collections. So there is one in Shine that I have, and then there's another one. I want to say it's in Carousel, but it may not be. And so I wanted to pull in some more of those marbly patterns. And since I was pulling them into the layout, I thought, well, let's add some stamps. It had been a long time since I had stamped anything. I was really in a mood to stamp. I miss it when I don't add it to my pages, and it had been a while since I had added them to my pages. So you'll get another video this afternoon or this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is my A Wild Whisper design team project, and that one also has stamping. And then I'm pretty sure most of this week there will be stamping because I was really in a stamping mood. I have missed it. So now we have all of these panels stamped up. And here's where you can kind of see my little Band-Aid over my rather deep puncture wound. And I worked on this layout in little chunks. And this was a couple days later. And so I'm going to trim off just a bit of the white border. So I printed this photo with the white border, but I really want to take a little bit of the white border off so that I can go ahead and have 4 4x4 squares. We're going to do a little bit of a grid layout today. So I'm going to mat my photo in some of that stamped patterned marble paper. I'm also going to cut, and then everything's going to be 4x4. So I'm going to use the other 2 stamped pieces and cut those down too and mat them so that I have 3 of these kind of marbled stamped pieces, which I really, really love these marbled pieces. I think that they added just the perfect pop to this layout, the perfect something extra. I decided I'm just going to center my photo and my panels. Everything's going to get a little bit of Vintage Photo Distress ink because we are working with Maggie, and when we work with Maggie, we need Vintage Photo Distress ink. Those are the rules. I don't make them, I just follow them. No, there's no rules in scrapbooking. It's just a personal preference of mine. I just thought I want to pop this up a little bit. So I have my big mama roll of tape, which is not so big anymore. We've almost gone through a roll, so it's a very good thing they come in a 2-pack, and I have another whole roll that I haven't even started yet. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add some tape, foam tape to the back of this picture and pop it up, and I'm going to center it fairly well into the middle of this page. This background paper I'm using says Happy Moments all over it. I'm not sure what collection it comes from. If you watched my video, the only collection that I have in its entirety separated is Marigold, because I'm going to be using that next month for my Cherry on Top projects. And I don't have any of the other ones separated. I really just have them all in a big iris container, all mixed together, which I am finding to be the most perfect way to work with Maggie Holmes collections ever. I'm just saying, this has been working really, really well for me to be able to open up that iris container and the 6x6 pads and kind of make my own little color palettes based on my photos and what I want to do. So that has been super useful. I am loving the layouts I have created. I think I have enough that I'll do a layout share with all of the other How to Kill a Kit girls at the end of October. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm doing so good with this. And Gwen Ruck, she's joining me on Mondays for her Maggie Holmes Monday, and she's doing fabulous too. She has videos and projects all ready to go till the end of December. So she's with me and we're going to be doing it. I think next week, Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life is joining me too. But of course, I just kind of give the people that wanted to create with me, I went ahead and did I gave them the thumbnails. So you can always kind of look for the thumbnails if you're interested in more Maggie Holmes Mondays. I know that Gwen's video went up last week. And hers went up on time, and it's stunning and beautiful. So if you haven't yet, I will leave her channel link down below. She's a lovely girl. You should totally just subscribe to her channel. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there, you know. You guys always comment and say such nice things about my Cut to You cut files, and she's the owner of Cut to You, and she's the one that designs those gorgeous cut files. So it's going to be a very chatty sort of scrapbooking video today, because I haven't chatted with you all in, ages. Well, a week. I was able to get my members only YouTube video up this week because that had already been filmed, photographed, done, and I am left-handed, not right-handed. Yes. So it wasn't too bad. Okay. Here are those marbled papers, the Maggie Holmes papers I wanted to use. And those papers were what started me on my journey to create these marbled panels that I stamped. So these are just some, they were like small scraps, and I cut them down to actually smaller scraps because it added that marble look to the page, and it also added some color. So I took the bigger scraps and I just cut these like nice small little strips, and I'm just going to layer them up at the top and at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and ink those up and get them adhered down. And then I'm going to go ahead and start to play with some die cuts. So I went through a bunch of die cuts, and I have these little flowers. You can see them off to the right. I'm going to layer them on top of these panels. But first I want to get these panels taped together, glued together, organized, ready to go. So that's what I'm going to do now. Every layer is getting the distress photo ink, and then I'm going to just go ahead and glue them. I cut them so that they would mat. So I have these 2 pattern papers and then the marble on the top. I'm just going to use regular tape runner. I have the photo up on foam tape, and by adhering these just with regular tape runner, I'm able to tuck these panels in underneath my photo. So now I'm just doing the same thing with those strips. They're all getting the vintage photo distress ink, and I'm layering them up. I'm kind of staggering them a bit to give them some more interest. And I do that to the top and then to the bottom and then the top too. And now I've pulled all these pink die cuts together, and I'm just going to kind of layer them up. I have some leaves, I have some vellum pieces. I'm going to use that little tag to date my photo, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them around. I'm going to create 2 clusters here on either side of my photo, which is just of my puppy, Fitz. And I'm just going to go ahead and add one little flower down below with my title. So I decided, since my entire background says happy moments, that should just be what my layout is titled. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use these Maggie Holmes letter stickers to make my title, and I'm also going to use the die cut. So I put that happy up at the top, and it has the colors that are in the flowers, the greens and the pinks. And then there's yellow in the marble. So the marble really helped, again, to tie a lot of the colors together. And I'm just going to kind of center and spell out a moment, and I'm going to place the vellum flower that you see on top of my photo is going to go down there behind the M. And that's really all I do for this layout. I'm just going to get my title in, adhere down these flower clusters, and date my photo, and that's pretty much it. So this was a pretty easy layout to put together. I think the hardest part is using a turnabout stamp and stamping with it. And actually, it's really easy. It just kind of requires you to remember from time to time. I have wrote down a little like cheat sheet to remind me that it will only stamp 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, not to make your paper larger than that, or you're not going to get a nice image just because of the way the stamp is designed and things like that. But I really love how these little marbled pandals turned out. I think they turned out really fun. And I love that you can like coordinate the colors and get your own little background paper going on. So yeah, this is going to be it. I'm just going to ink these up. I'm going to glue them down. I'm going to add some foam tape to a couple of them. And that's going to complete this layout. I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be sure to check back at my channel at 7 o'clock, and then I'll be back on Wednesday too for 2 Shamel sketches. All right, everyone, have a fabulous day. Bye.